Yeah, what's good guys, hope you're all doing well today. So recently I saw a video that Enders made talking about the decline of FPS games. It's a really good watch, but while I was watching that video it got me thinking about the topic as well. And more or less, I think we must ask one big question here. Do we like what we're good at, or are we good at what we like? I'm not going to pretend that I've seen and played every FPS title since the beginning of time, but just like Enders, I'd like to think that I lived through some of the golden ages of gaming. I played CS 1.6 and Halo at school during German classes, came back home and grinded Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike, built bases and got offline raided by Brazilians in DayZ mod, and then of course, I found Battlefield at the end, and I played Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 religiously. I'd always look forward to getting home from school and just getting onto whatever the boys and I were playing at the time, and simply put, you didn't really have to look far and long for a good time. Now, maybe it's a product of getting older, but I rarely play games off stream these days. I haven't been properly addicted to anything in a long time, which is probably for the better, but either way, I tend to believe that FPS games have really taken a steep decline, and the reasons why are both simple and pretty sad to think about. Well, to me, I think the decline really began with games that followed Counter-Strike. In the beginning of FPS games, players have competed against each other. It's always happened, it's human nature, and it isn't really anything that compares to that kind of high-stakes environment. CSGO, however, was that game that really brought competitive matchmaking and ranking to the general public. Thing is, the game has no shortcuts. Anyone can hop into the game, but it's going to tell you exactly how good you are with a little badge next to your name, and if you want to progress further, you will have to work for it. To me, and I'm sure many others, this was the addictive part. The game doesn't actually spoon feed you at all. You just have to progress as a player, figure out what you're doing wrong and how you can improve, and just grind it out. But what happened after CSGO? Well, I think companies started to focus a lot more deeply into financial optimization of their games. And looking at CSGO, it's a game that just sold keys for the crates, and as far as keeping players interested, Valve has historically been very inactive with the game. It barely gets updates, and when it comes to what you're actually getting for the price, you're pretty much just getting a game. Like, you're getting the game, the mechanics within it, and that's about it. In 2016 though, I think this is where the downfall really began. Starting with Battlefield 1, I think this game was the beginning of the end for the Battlefield franchise. If you look at the mechanical complexity of each Battlefield game and graph it over time, there'd be a very, very steep drop-off at Battlefield 1. Probably peaks around BF4, and then, yeah, sharp decline at Battlefield 1. The gunplay was very spread-heavy, so it doesn't really reward a crazy amount of accuracy. It more rewards using the right weapon for the right range and understanding how that system works. The movement is really, really dumbed down. The vehicles are so easy that anyone can use them, and there's an incredible arsenal of explosive and spammy weapons that had me avoiding this title like the plague. I know many that love the game for its atmosphere and still have a great time on it, but I also know an equal amount of people that are stuck with Battlefield 4 as I did. The game was designed in a way that allows players to reach a really competent level very, very quickly and easily. And this, my friends, is where we revisit that important question. Do we like what we're good at, or are we good at what we like? Well, in my opinion, it's a bit of both. You're probably likely to fall into both of those statements. You're going to like things that you're good at due to a sense of accomplishment and satisfying your ego. Not everyone is going to get good at things that they like. From a game development perspective, you want people to like your game. Now, is it easier to make people like the game through design choices, mechanics, marketing, or whatever? Or is it easier to make the player feel good at the game and just like it because they're good at the game? I think the second option is a lot easier, and it's something that has really taken a main stage in the gaming space. And now, this is where skill-based matchmaking and engagement-optimized matchmaking also come in. If you don't want to dumb down your mechanics but still want to retain players, these systems are very useful. If you didn't include skill-based matchmaking on KD or whatever, it's very likely that all the KDs of players in, let's say, a Call of Duty game will fall along a normal distribution or bell curve. Now, what SBMM aims to do is to match every player in games with opponents of equal skill levels. This will raise the KDs and improve the experiences for everyone on the left side of the graph, but it will lower the KDs and hurt the experiences of everyone on the right side of the graph. Thing is, everyone on this side is still having a decent enough time. It's those that are below average that are getting a significantly better experience with SBMM, and the objective within all of this is just getting those players to launch the game the next day, open up the shop, see there's a sick new skin there, and spend their hard-earned money. Now, in games where there's a rank system, there is no issue with SBMM at all. That's literally just how it should work. But in games without a rank system, it feels really, really unsatisfying to basically be working against a moving target all the time. However, this system clearly works as COD has implemented this kind of matchmaking in many titles now, and I do not see it stopping anytime soon. Let it be known that SBMM isn't necessarily the end of it either. Activision supposedly has patents for skill-based hitbox sizes, along with skill-based footstep audio. This kind of stuff really doesn't sit right with me, and I hope it stays as a patent and nothing more. Biggest issue is that when you take a game, you dumb down the mechanics, and then you add aggressive SBMM on top of all of that, that's when you have a real problem, and that's what MW2 did, and unfortunately the game is losing players at a very consistent rate. Well, maybe I should say fortunately, because the only way that we're going to get past this kind of stuff is by having games that do these really kind of shady practices die out and not get rewarded in a super lucrative way like some other games definitely have. Another issue with games is that now we are in the age of everyone having really fast internet. When you get a game, you don't necessarily have to be downloading the final release of that game. You're pretty much just downloading the first build of it, and a lot of games release in a very unfinished state, and due to great marketing and pre-orders, they don't really have to deliver anything crazy. And on top of all of that, you have live service models, which, as we saw in Battlefield 5, they literally abandoned that game and delivered a lot less than previous titles did. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely prefer the old premium system. At least then, they're pretty much contractually obliged to provide a certain amount of content, rather than just drip feeding like they have with live service. There has been games with live service like Fortnite that did it really well, constant updates, but they're going to do it really well if the game is generating billions of dollars, right? They're not going to do it so well when the game is just scraping through and they don't have to. So what is for certain, we're definitely past those old days of popping a disc in the computer or CD, installing the game off the CD, and you get a finished product right then and there. No, you download the game, and it may or may not be finished, and it could be up to a year, as we've seen in these Battlefield games, until the game is actually fully playable. And now let's put on some tinfoil hats, as this has not been confirmed fully, but Overwatch 2 did something really interesting that actually just made me quit the game. On the November patch that they rolled out, there was a patch note that said that they made some changes to the matchmaker. Now, ever since then, many players have been reporting massive win streaks and massive loss streaks. Supposedly, they've changed the matchmaker to basically force you either on a good streak or a bad streak. And after experiencing a few days or a week of this, basically I would win 6 to 7 games in a row. It felt like it was being handed to me though, and it didn't really give me any satisfaction. I kind of deep down knew that the game was handing these wins to me, as I'd play really bad in some of these games, and we would just steamroll, like we were predetermined to win that match. And then I would play, like 6 to 7 games in a row the next day, and they'd all be losses. Maybe one win where you play out of your mind and you just barely scrape by. In the end, I think the developers did say something about it, saying that the objective of the matchmaker was to change your rank, meaning that you'll either try to get you a rank up or a rank down. And just knowing that, it's extremely, it's not genuine. If I win a game, I want to be winning because my team is better or I play better or whatever like that. I don't want it to be predetermined. And that's literally what ruined it. As soon as I kind of figured out that it was putting me on big win streaks and big loss streaks, I uninstalled the game. Don't really have any interest in that. And now I'm back in Battlefield. Because if the game does one thing well, it's the fact that it still matches me with a nice mix of crops, average players, and farmers. I really enjoy the variety and it feels organic. I really do hope FPS games do take a turn back to purity though. No more rigged matchmaking, you have modes with SBMM and modes without it, and mechanics that on their own provide enough reason to play the game. Seriously, why did I play BF4 for 8 years? It's because of the mechanics. That's what kept bringing me back. Why do I play Valorant, CS, R6, or even Overwatch before they changed the matchmaker? It's because of the competitive experience. Pretty much any of those games, if you put enough time into them, you'll probably enjoy them because that competitive feeling is enough to keep people coming back. I really do hope that developers and companies start to realize that artificially trying to boost kind of player retention and stuff like that just isn't the best way of doing things. Maybe in terms of numbers it is, but for the sake of the players, it'd be so refreshing just to have a game that's designed really well and in a genuine way. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the perspective on this one. A little bit of tinfoil theories in this one, but a lot of things that have also been just straight up confirmed and a few opinions in there as well. Anyways, take it easy guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.